Well, I think it's just interesting to note the Albert Hopoate ACL injury. So it's his third of his career. We have seen in the past a lot of players redoing the ACLs. Adam Dewey is one of them. James Tedesco early on in his career had a couple of ACLs. What's sort of like the return to play with these players coming back from ACL injuries, especially if they've already re-ruptured the same leg or the alternate leg or both legs?
Yeah, great question. So return to play, especially if they've previously done an ACL injury and then they've re-ruptured it the following season or like 2 seasons down the track, you're almost thinking like, is the graft, is the integrity of the ligaments or your ACL where your ACL prevents that anterior sliding of the tibia going past the femur. So it's like that graft is likely, the reasons why injuries happen is likely either like the muscles around the joint aren't strong enough or that, and can be a mixture of like the graft's not strong enough to, or it could be a combination of both. So you're really starting to think like, if this has happened 3 times in a row, do I medically retire, or I guess do I play on? Do I rehab it? Because it's no fault of the player themselves. It's like
Yep.
usually if you do the rehab, you can get back to 100%. Like you can be as good as you can be, and and um, and yeah. So yeah, it's an interesting one.
Yeah, so that is interesting. We never want players medically retiring, and the old what if question, because James Tedesco, back when he was at the West Tigers, before he was a absolute superstar with the Sydney Roosters, he did back-to-back ACLs, and that's sort of why the Roosters picked him up and got him for a steal,
Yep.
because the injury cloud of 2 ACLs in back-to-back seasons at such a young age,
Yep.
investing so much money, time, and resources into those sort of players is kind of, the what if type question. So, yeah, it's interesting to note that you've said time will tell, I guess.
Yeah. I do want to preface with also like you can rehab your ACL back to like 100%, and it shouldn't really stop you from continuing to play sports. Like it's still very strong. I think just at this elite level, it's like a lot of things are, people are running into each other harder. The boys are a
Oh,
lot
sure.
bigger. There's a lot more load and things like that. But yeah, it's that you're able to rehab it to 100%. It should be good. Like you look at Beau Fermor, you look at Tino. So far, like Beau Fermor 2 years ago, I think was his ACL. And then last year he
Yep.
played amazing. This year he's
Mhm.
still doing really great. So it's like it's definitely doable, and it depends. It's a case by case as well.
Is it very much like surgeon dependent as well, how they do the ACL, or is it pretty much similar sort of surgery, taking stuff from your hamstring or
Yeah,
whatever?
yeah. I that would play. It's very similar. Yeah, like the surgery is very similar. So I guess it's also down to the surgeon, I guess, in terms of their kind of expertise and stuff as well. But generally, it's a
Yeah.
hamstring graft, and then they place that into your knee.
Yeah. And let's just say hypothetically, the Albert Hopewadi situation, he's already done his ACL twice on one leg, one on the other. Is the rehab process going to be longer? Is it still going to be a similar time frame? And again, there's going to be listeners out there who have already done their ACL and they're potentially in a similar situation. Might be good insight to
Yeah,
hear.
yeah, definitely. That it's a very similar. Most people have similar journeys if they undergo surgery. It's kind of that week to week or rehabilitation. So it's like that typical 9 to 12 months before you're kind of returning to play or returning to a sports. It's quite typical. There are very standard like rehabilitation guidelines. So it's like you undergo, oftentimes a surgeon wants like post surgery wants to see like 90-degree knee bend or knee flexion after a certain time. And that's typically like, that 1 to 2 months. So then from there, it's like trying to get your walking patterns right. So normalizing gait. So oftentimes when you first get surgery, it's like you're limping a little bit, which is completely normal. But then trying to get a bit more of that pattern going. So like knee flexion, then extension, then that walking. From walking, then progressing your strength, so to being able to tolerate a bit more load. And it's just taking
Yep.
time so that letting the ACL graft heal, and then letting your body able to take on a bit more load and weight.
Mate, great insight. And I'm sure the listeners would appreciate your expertise and definitely using the comparison of Albert Hopewadi. I guarantee there'll be some listener out there taking some insight from that. So thanks again, Gary.
Oh, good.
Great as always.